Happy by Design, and welcome to Christmas in July 2022. This is my first post. I'm going to try to do 2 or 3 a week as time allows. I have some really beautiful new products to share with you. Some things are old, some things are new. We're going to have some tutorials, and I want to introduce you to a bunch of beautiful new dies from Spellbinders. These are the Susan's Gardens Winter Garden dies, and I have had so much fun with these. These are awesome. There are 3 dies that I have been working with. First, I have the Evergreen boughs, which are these 3 beautiful evergreen foliage, these 3 beautiful foliage pieces and some little ladybugs. Then there is the Christmas rose, which is all these pieces, and these make beautiful flowers, really fun to make. And then my favorite, I think, is this ice skate. This card I use Cartabella's Christmas collection. And I believe you can still get this at the Button Farm Club. And right now, she is having 50% off all of her Christmas stuff. So hop on over there and grab this. But I'll just show you very quickly. Of course, this one's been all cut up. But this is 12 double-sided sheets of their wonderful heavy cardstock. I just fell in love with this. It's an older collection, like I said. I'm not sure what year it's from. A lot of you probably have it in your stash if you're Cartabella fans, like I am. All these sweet little tags, 4x4s, 3x4s, 6x4s. I love the way they've used black and cream and white. It is just really beautiful. Here's all the border strips, the little bitty houses. Oh yeah, look at these sweet evergreen trees, really pretty. And stockings, little gingham stockings, how cute is that? Holly and berries, this great vintage poinsettia pattern, and this green plaid. And then there's also a sticker sheet in the 12x12 collection. Okay, so let's take a look at the dies that we used to create this card. Of course, I used the Winter Garden Skate, the Christmas Rose, which is these dies. And if you'll notice on these dies, they have a little number on them that tells you how many times you need to die cut each piece for each flower, which is really helpful. And then I use this wonderful evergreen foliage die. I also brought in from my stash of Amazing Paper Grace dies this Adoria square shadow box frame. And I know this is meant to be used for a shadow box, but it also makes a really wonderful background. And you can see how I cut just this part out of my patterned paper. And then I came back with white paper and these 2 dies to cut this white piece that the skate is resting on. And it just creates a really lovely backdrop for the focal point. So this is just a 6x6 card made with a 6x12 piece of cardstock scored in half at the top. I cut a 6x6 panel of the wood grain, then dry brushed the edges with my chalk paint, bumped this 5x5 piece up on some foam tape to add a little height, and then I placed my outer frame from that Adoria here, also bumped up on a little foam tape, and then just glued the white to the darker background. The skate is bumped up on foam tape. This is cut out of patterned paper. I painted the edges with my chalk paint and also the blade of the skate, so it looks like it has ice on it. Lacing this skate is really easy. I used gold and ivory baker's twine, and I found like a darning needle with a big eye, and just came up through here, and then came up through here, then came over here, and repeated that. So you get the little X's. And then at the top, I tied a bow, topped it with a flower and these little leaves, Found these itty bitty buttons in my stash, added those on the top of the skate. The Christmas rose is cut out of just white cardstock, and then I shaped it with my shaping tools. This time I put the stamens inside, the die cut stamens that you make with this piece, and then hit the tops of them with a little Dries Clear adhesive to glitter them up. I painted a light coating of Dries Clear adhesive on the petals, and also did those in glitter. The leaves are die cut from this same patterned paper, inked with gathered twigs, and then painted. This is a forest green double bow and some iridescent string. Now, the wonderful thing about this foliage is how many different ways you can use it. And this time I cut it out of just plain white cardstock to give it a snowy look. I wanted to brighten up these more rustic papers. And then I painted it with my Dries Clear and hit it with glitter. So very, very simple. And then our little snowflake is here. And then on the inside, we've just got a pocket, a little gift card wallet with room to add a sentiment. And I tucked one of the cute little tags in the pocket. The way I make these is I just glue my 4x4 down on a slightly taller than 8-inch piece of paper, and then I trim it, score it, fold it. Real simple, real simple. But it's such a nice little addition to a card. And since so many of us give gift cards at Christmas, this is a very nice way to dress that up. So that is this card. The second collection I worked with was Stamperia's Pink Christmas, which I think also Button Farm Club has in their Christmas section. I worked with the 12x12, but this is a beautiful Victorian, non-traditional kind of pink and aqua. Just a really fun collection to work with for Christmas. And honestly, it's one of my favorites. I am so fond of this collection. It just has a wonderful, nostalgic vibe. Oops, I missed a page. I know you guys like to see what's in. Look at all the sweet little tags. And then fussy cuts. For this slimline card folio, I used the skate. This time I cut it twice out of a soft pink cardstock. I cut another Christmas rose out, just one, to go up here in the corner with the foliage. And then I cut my Evergreen foliage out of patterned paper, painted it with my with my Dries Clear adhesive, and glittered it. So those are the dies that I used on this one. So if you have your paper laid out on your scoring tool, from the left you're going to score at 4.5, then score at 4 3/4, then fold it on that 4 3/4 line, score it again at 4.5, and that leaves you with this little tiny flap that goes on the inside, and I'll address that in just a minute. On the cover, I did the 2 skates, and this time I painted them, and while the paint was still wet, I sprinkled it with a kind of a snowy embossing powder to give it this really shiny, slightly glittery, icy looking blade. But I want you to see the detail on this die. Look, the little heel has the marks in it. So this I just inked up with vintage tea dye. I painted the edges of the skate with ivory chalk paint, and then came back and brushed it with my vintage tea dye. I also spattered this with paint and then sprinkled the same embossing powder over the wet paint there, and then laced it up with pink and white baker's twine. So you can see how I just stitched up. Then if you put foam tape between the front skate and the back skate, you get this really great dimension. And then I just tied them together at the top, added these little snowflake embellishments, little pink buttons and pearls on there. So this I stitched, I first I put down this 4.5 by 8.5 panel of the silver glitter. Then I came in with a slightly smaller panel of the aqua wood grain from the paper collection and stitched that to the silver. And then these are just, I'll show you, these are just little pieces. Do you see how I did that? At the top and the bottom, stitched my lace to the card using my sewing machine. Of course, I did all of that before I layered on all of the elements. This is one of the circle elements that I also dry brushed the edge a little bit with ivory paint, tucked it back behind the skates. And then this time I did my Christmas rose with spun sugar and worn lipstick distress ink. So, and then this little bow cluster. So you can see the foliage here. It's all really pretty. And here's what it looks like opened out this way. Then when we get to the inside on this panel, I just used one of the images from the paper collection with a fussy cut skate to create this little pocket. If you flip your paper this way, and what I did was I had a panel of 3" by 8.5" of this aqua cardstock. And when I glued it to my little pink flap, I only put my glue here, here, and here. And that forms a pocket. So in the pocket, you can put a tag. We've got a little flip folio here, super sweet. Room to write a note or add a photo. Also, there's room on the back. And then I just pieced together some scraps to line the pocket. So this is not hard. The trick is just putting your glue here, here, and here on your pink flap. And then you just glue the blue over that. So that's really handy. Then here, I used magnets to create these little flip folios. These are just little images from the 8x8 pad. And again, I just mat them on a scrap of my paper, trim it to the width that I want it to be, score and fold. And the magnet is under the image here, and it's under the image here. And if you don't know how to apply magnets, if you go to my playlist, Paper Crafting 101, I have an adhesives tutorial that shows you how to do that. So that's these. Then I just created a little pocket here with a scrap of the aqua paper, fussy cut the skating girls, tucked in a honey stick, stitched together with scraps this pretty little bookmark, and added these charms and some of this pink gingham ribbon. So this turns this into a gift. There's a tea bag inside here. I used a scrap of paper to create a belly band and tucked in a little mini candy cane. So that's kind of fun. So that makes this a gift. Like if you're looking for a Secret Santa gift or a, you know, just something for a co-worker, something like that. This is a nice little gift. People really like these. And it's so easy to turn a card like this into a gift. But you can see, it's very straightforward. It's really simple. A tip is add your ribbon to your card base before you put your patterned papers on. It just makes everything more secure. This third is made with Photoplay papers, brand new. It's a Wonderful Christmas. I love this collection. It is so, well, I'll just show you. There's just something precious about it. It's got these wonderful snowmen, these little snow-covered houses, great little sentiments. This is the sticker sheet, and there are 12 pages, but I'm not showing you the ones I cut up. I'm just showing you the whole sheets. There's this wonderful wood grain, or like shiplap, snowflakes, really bright and festive. Look at this fantastic plaid. I love that it's on I guess it's technically an argyle because it's on a diagonal. And then wonderful holly and foliage. And these snowmen are the cutest. I love them. And on the back side of that is just a great diagonal stripe. Here's another wonderful tartan plaid. I love the way Photoplay does teal with red. It's really attractive. It's beautiful. And this is the page that won my heart. When I was growing up in Vermont, there was one person who had this little A-frame house right in front of the beaver pond, and at Christmas time it just looked like magic, and this takes me right back to that. So that's kind of cool. And then this beautiful textured piece with all the paint spatters, and here's some cut aparts. And oh, this is the first sticker sheet I showed you. This is the card making elements. This is for making cards. So, but it works. I got this separately from the paper. And then this is the sticker sheet that comes with the paper collection. So just a really fun collection. And then there's an ephemera pack, of which I use some of it. You can kind of see, I hope that there's not too much glare, but they always have these great framed pieces. They have wonderful little banner pieces, tickets, tags, sentiments. So a really fun collection. And this time I made a 5x7 double gatefold card with a belly band closure. And you can see this time I did our Christmas rose. I did clusters of them. I even used some of the small ones to tuck in. This is white cardstock that I colored with festive berries and barn door. And then I sprayed it with some glimmer mist that I had. The leaves are cut out of white paper, and I colored these with peeled paint and shabby shutters, and then I came in with a gold iridescent mist and colored those. This is that same evergreen foliage, only this time I cut all the little branches into pieces to make this beautiful evergreen wreath. So first I die cut it out of patterned paper. I had a green patterned paper. Then I brushed it with my Dries Clear, hit it with my glitter, let it dry completely, like overnight, so that it was super dry. Then I came in and I just snipped all the little branches, put foam tape on the back, and arranged them around a die cut circle of that white wood grain paper from the collection. And you can see, I'll hold it up, hopefully that didn't make you dizzy. I added peppercorns and prills around here, like little decorations. So you can find neat stuff in your kitchen to decorate with. The belly band is actually 4 inches tall, which is big for a belly band, but you have to have something to hold these double gates closed, or you end up, you know, it just flops open. So this is a really good way, and it's such a fun feature. It's like opening a present. You can also see, I'll just point out on the little sticker from the collection, I created faux snow with my Dries Clear and my glitter. So one of the fun things about Christmas crafting is that you get to use lots of glitter. So this is a 12-inch by 4-inch high piece of the same craft cardstock that I used for the base. So here's how the base opens. Isn't that fun? And the neat thing about these is that they will stand up on their own. So I created a little pocket, then made just a little gift card holder, dressed it up with some stickers, and here's the room to stick in the gift card and room to write a little note. So this is the card that I want to do a little tutorial with you to show you how I put the pieces together. So let me clear my desk and I'll be right back. I'm working with white cardstock because I think it's it shows up a little bit better in a video than craft. But this is probably 110 pound, but you could honestly, you could use like an 85 pound and you'd still be really good. This is 12 by 12. So the first thing I did was I doubled the paper up, lined it up at 7, and I cut these at the same time. All right, from one of the offcuts, go ahead, it's going to be 5 inches wide, cut a 7-inch panel, and you just put this piece aside and use it for something else. This is going to be your belly band. Trim this to 4 and set this aside. Now bring in one of these sheets, and you want to cut 2 5.5. And if you're asking me, why didn't I just get all of this out of one sheet? This was the easiest way for me to figure out to do it. This way I know all my edges are even and everything's going to line up the way I want it. To recap, you have two 5.5 by 7 pieces. You have one 12 by 4 inch piece, and you have one 5 by 7 piece. Bring in your scoring tool and the 5.5 by 7 inch pieces. On one of them, you're going to score a 1/2 inch flap on the left. Then you're going to fold and score it 2.5. And this piece folds back. Okay. On this piece, you're going to score a 1/2 inch on the right and fold, and then score it 2.5. This time I'm going to turn it this way. Sometimes with this heavier paper, you get better results if you score on both sides. Yeah, see how that didn't break this time? So that's a good tip too. So now you have your 5 by 7, and you have your 5.5 by 7 with the fold on the left. Bring in whatever adhesive you plan to use. If you're using a liquid adhesive, I recommend you put it close to the outside edge so you don't have it leak into the gutter. And then you're just going to fold this flap back behind. Of course, if you're doing a 4 by 6 card, you can use one piece of 12 by 12 cardstock. But this is, I wanted to do a 5 by 7. So see? And you can't even tell. It's so cool. And then do the same thing on this side. And just line it up. It's close to the fold. This is why I like to use liquid glue, because I can have a little more wiggle room. All right. So see, there's your double 5 by 7 double gatefold base. How cool is that? Now for the belly band, I simply brought my paper in, and you could measure and do all the things, but I just eyeballed it because really at the end of the day, it doesn't matter all that much. And I made a little pencil mark here, and I made a little pencil mark here. Bring in your scoring tool, and my scoring tool only has a few places where I have 1/8 inch score lines. So I'm going to line this pencil mark up with one of these, and I'm going to score this here and then this here. This just makes it that it rounds the corner a little bit easier. Then I'm going to move this to here. The pencil mark is going to be the inside, and then your extra score line is the outside. All right, just going to erase my pencil marks. I'm actually going to flip this because when you're folding scored paper, you see how there's a little raised side here? You want to fold into that raised edge. I'm going to lay my card down, and I'm just going to fold and fold like this. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to make the second fold just by pinching it. And this allows you to add that designer paper. These have to be kind of flat on the front. You could probably add stickers or whatever if you wanted to dress it up a little bit. I don't generally do that because the belly band is the decoration on these cards. All right. So see, we've got our little edge. Bring your card back in. Put your belly band over your card, and I'm not pulling or anything. I'm just very lightly holding it there. I'm going to place my adhesive on this outside edge. And I'm just going to lay this down. And then I just do like this on my tabletop to square off those scored pieces. And this allows it to slide up and down really freely on the card. So now you know how to make a 5x7 double gatefold card base with a belly band closure. So that is today's tutorial. Simple, but you'll have a lot of fun making these. These make great little gifts. And now I thank you for joining me. I'll be back tomorrow with another new product. It's our Make and Take Tuesday, and I'll have a more complete tutorial. But that's it for me. Kathy Clement, Kathy by Design. Go get your craft on. Bye.